Alright, this is how you change the thermostat on a 98 Mustang. As you see, I took the hose off, put it back to here so I don't lose any fluid. And you got your 2 bolts here. You take that off and you're going to remove the gasket and make sure that you clean around after it comes off. And that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to come back in a second and show you what's up. And as you can see, I got a extension, which should be a 8mm, and I'm going to unscrew both of them, and but make sure you got an extension. It's going to be kind of hard. I got a swivel socket on the end, so it, as you can see, it bends that way. When I get to this other one and this is in the way, I don't have to sit there and fight it with, you know, going back and forth. So be back in a second. The little swivel socket on this side is for you know, you don't have that much room in here, so you can still turn, as you can see. If not, you'll be bumping, you'll be turning little bitty turns, and it'll take forever without the swivel socket. But you can still do it without it, but you probably want to take this off and, you know, everything else, which I'm not doing all that. Now, after you kind of loosen them up good, you can take the ratchet off and kind of use your hand to kind of turn it the rest of the way out. That way you don't drop your nuts here, which alright, same thing with this side. You can kind of loosen it up. It's probably gonna fall, but hopefully not. As you can see, I used like a paper gasket, and the reason I'm having to do this is because it was still leaking once I used it. I got it from AutoZone, which is not the greatest place to even try to get a damn gasket. They fucking suck, excuse my language. But as you can see, it just, like, it melted away for some reason. I don't see how that happened, but it sucked. So now I gotta clean all this out and make sure you clean it real good, because if you don't, it won't seal properly, and then you'll be doing it all over again, going back to O'Reilly's or Advance to get another gasket. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean that, and now I'll be back. Okay. I cleaned the housing where the hose goes. Fits like this. As you can see, you need to clean it and clean it good, so to get a tight seal. As you can see, I haven't cleaned that yet, and that's what I need to do. As you can see, the old gasket, now that I'm pulling it off, look at this, just dissolved. Like, it ain't worth a shit. Look at that crap. I got a different type of gasket now, instead of this junk. So I'm basically gonna clean it all off, tear it off, and then I'm gonna get something like flathead or something and scrape it and try to get it as clean around here and around all these edges so it can get a proper seal. Yeah, so I'm in the process of cleaning this. You probably can't see it, but I'm trying my best to get all the little stuff off. So I'm just using a little knife or something to kind of scrape the rest of the stuff off, just to make sure it gets a good seal. And you want to make sure you get around everything. See all that little gooey crap coming off? You need to get all that so your new gasket will seal properly. So, and whatever you do, don't scar the metal. Like, don't dig any gouges in it or anything like that, because if you do that, then you're gonna have an issue with it, and you don't want to scar it up. Like, put any gouges with whatever you're scraping with, because then you'll have a way for water to get out. Alright, so as you can see, I cleaned it off pretty good. I made sure I felt around with my finger and make sure there ain't no big lumps or anything on there that I can't see. Got good around the screw holes. And now I'm going to put, as you can see, this is the other end. This is your thermostat. Now, when it gets hot, this thermostat opens up. The spring backs out, and you'll see a gap in between the gold and the silver part. Now, that's when it gets hot. So you want to test this out before you put it in, even though it's new. You take a pot of water, boil it, and you stick this inside. When you do that, you're going to see it. You leave it in there for long enough, and it'll eventually, you'll see this spring back and this gold part back out, and you'll see a gap in between there. That's when it opens up, when it's in your engine. Damn ice cream man coming down the road. So you want to do that, and then after it opens up and you see that it's open, you take it out. Of course, don't burn yourself, and set it on the counter and just let it cool on its own, and you'll watch it close back up. That's pretty much the concept of what it's going to do in there. When the water gets hot, it opens up. When it cools off, it closes. And that allows the water to get in and out. Alright, now, I don't know if you can see that little groove right there inside. Now you see there's no groove anywhere around there. That little groove is for you to set this thermostat in there. And then you're going to try to do this with the phone in my hand. You got this little pin type thing in there. See that little pin? That's gonna sit right inside that little groove I just showed you. And you're gonna turn it, and it's gonna lock in there. And see, I turned it to where the button's facing that way. And of course it's gonna stick in like this. Put that little groove that's right here, that little pin that's hanging inside there, you kind of turn it and turn it in, and it doesn't lock, but it kind of snugs it in there, kind of keeps it from falling out. Now, this is the gasket that goes on there. You're gonna want to, as you can see, this white is just it has a sticky side. So this is the good side, and this the other side's the sticky side. You're gonna be able to peel that white off, poke the little holes out like that, and then you're gonna stick it on the housing to where it doesn't move when you try to put your part back on. And as you can see, I took the white sticky off one side, and I'm gonna attempt to put it on. Okay, I just stuck it on, and I made sure that, you know, it's even all around here, and it's pretty much even, an even seal. So all around there is pretty even the bottom is pretty even, and I stuck it on there. It's got the sticky, so it's not gonna move when you go to put it on, which is good, and that's a great quality in it. Because if you tried to put, like the last one I put on, it falls, and you have to fight it and move it around. This way I know it's in that spot, and when I go to stick it back on, it stays. And then I can tighten up my screws, no problem. Alright, as you can see, I'm in the middle of putting it back on. I managed to get my bolts in the holes and get it set in there right, and I did one at a time, and I got one started and held it on at the same time, and now I'm just tightening a little bit at a time. Trying to do this with one hand kind of sucks. But yeah, and you have to make sure that the thermostat's sitting in the hole right, because you don't want to have it slid down or anything. You know, you want it to be sitting in there right. So hopefully I got it in there right, and the gasket going right, and we're gonna see if it leaks. Alright, I got them tightened down. Got them tight as I could get them, and then I went back to each one and I put a little more tightening on it, not to over tighten, but just to make sure I couldn't get a little more snug, and I rotate it back and forth. Now I'm going to take my hose and slip it back on. Of course, you got to use the old trusty pliers to if I can get them open. Try to pinch it. Make sure you get it down all the way. Okay, I got the hose back on. And as you can see, I pushed it all the way down and I made sure the clamp wasn't over the bottom of the hose. It was kind of in the middle, but as you can feel, still up against metal, so it's tightly secure. And now we're gonna find out if this thing leaks. I'm gonna crank it up now, and hopefully no leaks come out the side. Or up under the bottom is where the leak was. Alright, cranked it up, as you can hear. Trying to see if they got a leak coming out the bottom. I don't see anything. So I'm thinking it's pretty good, but I gotta ride it down the road and make sure. Make sure you ride it down the road, make sure it gets nice and hot. Come back and check it and let your temperature go all the way up so you can see if it's sealed or not, because if the thermostat's not opening up, it can keep your heater from working properly, or if it stays open, it'll keep it from working properly. And if it doesn't open, it'll have pressure in that hose and it'll come through that seal. But I'm not seeing any leaks, so we're gonna come back and we're gonna go test drive it, come back and see what's up. Wife's gonna go test drive it real quick, try to get the car warmed up so we can see if the thermostat's opening up. All right, she's pulling back up with the car now. We're gonna go ahead and open the hood.